Welcome back to Crime is the New Black Entitlement. Since our last episode, we've had a lot of bookmarks, so we'll start off this episode on a fairly light note before we get into the dark stuff. So, from White Ghost, Tyquisha's urge to twerk is just too strong, so she pulled over and shook her ass in the street. This is black culture. Let's see. Okay, I guess it's kind of a crime to stop a car in the middle of a road in an unauthorized part of the road, I guess obstruction of traffic, let's call it. But she stopped to do such a secret African bunga bunga activity. So that's light. Let's get into the darker stuff, yeah? So, we have... I'm not sure where this is. And we want to get rid of the music for copyright reasons. So let's see. It looks like a Waffle House because someone's asking, can I please have a waffle? So, okay, so we have 2 or 3 women fighting in the back, black people. Of course, blacks encouraging and enjoying the spectacle. That's always a theme. Whenever you see the black violence, it's always characterized by, or not characterized, but it's always surrounded by laughter, joy, encouragement. So it seems like a peak emotional experience, according to Colin Fight. He coined that phrase. But there's always joy around it. They enjoy seeing each other fight and being like what is essentially savages. Because even this guy breaks into a breakdance. I've not seen this before. In all my years of covering black crime, I have never seen this. And it's quite good. So he's distracting us, but the violence is really going on in the back. So black violence, so let's call it mob violence in a Waffle House. It's everywhere, but even the Waffle House is not spared. So, from Jerry Taylor, unprovoked attack on a woman who had just come out from her bachelorette party in Dallas. Possible motive for the attack has not been released. He's black, she's white. What you need to understand is that whenever you hear people talk about motive, one, motive is irrelevant for crimes. That is, on a legal level, legally speaking, motive is irrelevant. Motive is just for TV shows and for the media. And it's just a way to distract you. It has no bearing on the crime. Defense lawyers may raise it. I've experienced it myself. Defense lawyers do raise it, but you can check any law book, any good judgment. Motive is so far down the list of things to consider when assessing crime and criminal culpability. Motive is honestly actually irrelevant. So let's go through the story from the Daily Mail. Convict arrested. Convict. He's a convict, guys. Unprovoked attack. Convict arrested for attacking bride to be outside the Dallas Company bachelorette party. The man who attacked the bride to be outside the Texas Club dinner bachelorette party has been arrested. Trayvon Woodward, of course, who was arrested Friday after being accused of attacking a 27-year-old woman, Canada Rinaldi, on March 22nd, 4 weeks before her wedding. Rinaldi is from Oklahoma. That's the woman, the victim. Celebrating her party in Dallas, but her night ended with a broken nose, 3 broken teeth, 8 stitches on her face. So yeah, her wedding is kaput ski. Her wedding is gone. That wedding is not happening. Woodward was recently granted parole and has a long criminal history. Tell me, or stop me if you've heard this before. Long criminal history. Long criminal history. We've covered stories like this. Long criminal history, long criminal history. So he punched her to the ground, face first, lost consciousness. I didn't deserve it. It was shocking, just hard to believe. Dash cam from a passing Uber captured the bridesmaid trying to save her, but found herself also being punched by Woodward. Now, you look at this person, the first thing you see is, or the first thing they will try to say, and I've not seen this story, I'm sharing it with you for the first time. Trust me, don't be surprised if they mention mental illness because his hair is shaggy and he's black. Generally, I mean, depending on where you go, black people are 25 to 40% mentally ill. Like, that's a real statistic. Depending on where you go, black people are 25 to 40% of black people are mentally ill. That is what the black newspapers report. This guy, you will see something like that in stories like this. Let's see. So she was punched. Look at her. This is an attempted homicide. So this is a husband-to-be. Fled the scene, covered in blood, disoriented, rushed to the hospital, faces more than $10,000 medical expenses. GoFundMe has been created. She's trying to heal, not only physically but emotionally and financially. Trust me, one thing about crimes like this, you can never recover from them. This crime that she experienced is permanent. Her life will always be tainted by this incident. There's nothing she can do about this. Yes, it just feels like a lot of my experiences were taken from me. Yes. I'm not excited to plan my wedding anymore. Yes. Before being savagely attacked, she was on the trip of a lifetime. A friend was celebrating. So this is the guy. So these are his different mugshots. So we have, this is February 4th, 11th February. What? No, okay, 11th, no, was this 2nd November? Yeah, 2nd November, 1st February, For February 1st, November 3rd, September 2nd. I mean, look at this guy. Assault a police officer, misdemeanor assault, burglary. This guy should be in prison for a long time. So these are the women. I mean, look at this. Culprit is still on the loose. Wow. So here we go. A possible motive for the attack has not been released. Motive. A random black criminal punches a woman, and you're looking for a motive. 93% of interracial violent incidences are black on white. That is not random. That is not motive. That's just a pattern. That is just a pattern. So please, whenever you see things asking for motive, that's not a thing. Motive is not real. I can tell you that for free. So next, crime is a new black entitlement. White 9-year-old kid stabbed to death by a black 12-year-old. Heartbreaking. Remember, never relax. Because it seems like the parents of the white child may have come up with the usual forgiveness. I don't like it because you see some black dirty parents coming to cry in court, then you start forgiving them for raising an animal like this. And yes, this child is an animal, because according to reports, the child stabbed the white child, maybe 6 times. So what are we talking about? What trauma is there to unpack? The alleged story is that the child was abused at home, so you got a knife and stabbed a white child. Why don't you just stab your parents who are abusing you, allegedly? You know what I mean? No, it's the general consternation. It's just the general consternation to the white man that leads the child to behave like their parents do. And as Colin says, there are no parents, just accomplices. So I think it's a little bit of crocodile tears where a black child knows to carry a knife and stab somebody 6 times. That's not a normal child. That is a black child. Let's watch this, because this is harrowing for the family of the white child, of course. For the black people, this is normal. And yes, the child should be hung. What are you crying at? They're not crying for the family that lost their child. They're crying because, oh, my kid gonna get hung by the white man, nigga. Let's watch this. Yes. And the judge has the right energy. The judge needs to let not only the defendant know, but the people watching. The judge needs to let everyone know the gravity of what this person did. So I like the fact that the judge is not taking a lenient approach. I hope he maintains his energy. Let's see.
12-year-old boy randomly stabbed a...
Not 12-year-old boy, not random. He's not a boy, and the stabbing is not random. Black people stabbing white people is not random. It's at least 70%. Black people stabbing white people is not a random occurrence. That is not random.
9-year-old to death. This 12-year-old boy randomly stabbed a 9-year-old to death and later sought the death penalty in court. However, after learning about his background, the victim's family not only forgave him, but also hoped for his recovery.
Recovery from what? This is what I'm talking about. So this is... I don't give a percentage to how much this contributes to the problem, but this is a significant part of the problem, where you just get a random sub-story, because blacks always have a sub-story. Blacks always have a sub-story. They'll tell you so that you can forgive them and they won't do it again, even though they've done it 20 times before. And your 9-year-old son, the blood of your 9-year-old child is still warm on the streets of the playground where he was stabbed, and you are desecrating his death, his memory, his grave, just so you can appear to reach out across the aisle, across racial lines, and see if you can heal together, or they are losing the niggers are losing a child too. Please learn from this. This is not the correct approach. You should be asking for the other child's blood as well. That is why you have a justice system. Or at the very least, as a Christian, if you want to be a Christian, show apathy. Don't try to empathize with the criminal. Show apathy and say, we want justice. The justice system should give us justice. God forgives. You know, in fact, what am I even saying? Don't even bring God into it. Just ensure that your child gets justice. You cannot dance in the name of political correctness on the grave of your 9-year-old son. You had the one child, and some savage, some fucking criminal came and took that child away from you. You should have a little bit more anger, or more, what's the word? You should have a stronger sense of justice than forgiving and hoping the child recovers. From what? What prompts a 12-year-old boy to pick up a knife and stab a random 9-year-old boy? Stop it.
On an afternoon in August 2014, Jamarion Lawhorn...
Jamarion. A child named Jamarion is stabbing people. Of course.
Afraid to go home.
Afraid to go home, so it's best I stab somebody. Does this make sense?
He chose Connor Verkerka as his target at a playground and stabbed him 6 times.
6 times. Stabbed in the playground 6 times. 1, what kind of knife do you have? 2, how did you come in possession of a knife? 3, why was it a white child out of all the children? Why not yourself if you're afraid to go home? It is because he's black and he sees whites as targets. These are what Hillary Clinton calls super predators. There is no way a 12-year-old black child who just stabbed another 9-year-old boy 6 times with a knife, knowing that the knife would kill him. You cannot tell me that that's the first time he's doing something so criminal. Nobody can tell me that. Let's continue.
Instead of running away, he called 911 and waited for the police to arrest him.
So he stabbed somebody because he wanted to go to the prison or wanted to get into custody of the police. So he killed somebody. This is not a boy suffering abuse. This is a sociopath. This is somebody who, I don't want to use the word sociopath because it's too played out, but this is somebody who knows exactly what he's doing. Forget that he's tough. Hang him now.
Lawhorn's defense attorney argued that he had suffered years of abuse from his...
Who fucking cares? Who cares about your abuse? This Joe Biden said this. We don't care what you went through. The problem is you're out here stabbing people's 9-year-old children in the playground. So the child's blood is on the sand of the playground, for God's sake. They always cook up a sob story for these criminals. They always find something to say, to justify. And I've never understood it. I've never, ever understood it.
Parents and pleaded insanity in court.
Insanity. What did I say? I mentioned it earlier. That they will always come up with insanity. How does alleged abuse lead to insanity? Does that even make sense to any right-thinking member of the public? I've always hated defense lawyers for this. I've always hated defense lawyers, especially those who raise insanity. Yes, that's your best bet. Yes, it's an easy cop-out. Yes, it's the easiest defense to raise if you're trying to do your job. But you are in the same process trying to deny justice. Because trust me, with a process called malingering, you can fake a mental illness. You can fake insanity. The boy just did good coaching, and you can easily do it. Many people have done it in the past. Just watch this. Malingering to avoid conviction. It's too easy to do this. It's too easy. Man, what's this? Bing is so useless. My God. Damn. Microsoft, do you even have a search system? Damn. So let's just call it criminal malingering, guys. Let's see examples. I think we've seen some of these things before. There's a name. Oh, here we go. So let's check out this article. Found an article talking about it. So, frequency and detection of malingering homicide defendants undergoing criminal responsibility evaluations using schedule of non-adaptive and adaptive personality feasibility study. So, criminal malingering is where you pretend to be an insane person, but there are examples of this. I mean, there's like some mafia guy, some Italian guy. It's whatever. It's a thing. We see it all the time, is what I'm trying to say. So, if you want to plead insanity, you have to coach your defendant, your witness, to act in a certain way to convince the court that, yes, this person could not have been criminally responsible mentally for the crime they committed. But for God's sake, if you stay in the park, pick up a knife, stab somebody 6 times, you are not mentally ill. You are presumed to intend the consequences of your actions. And 2, this criminal here, this savage criminal, picked up the phone and called 911. That is not insane. That is not an insane conduct. It means you know what you are doing. Knowing that if I press these 3 numbers, it will connect me to the police, and if I remain there, I will get called to the park. He has the consciousness to be able to call the police, report his location, report his actions, wait to get arrested, charged, booked. This person is not insane. So, as I said, I hate, and I have to use this word, hate, defense lawyers who rush to this defense. It is so basic, so ridiculous. Obviously, it's designed to delay the trial because they can call as many experts as they want. You too, as a prosecutor, you have to call your own experts. You have to do so much work in cross-examining their witnesses and the actions of the defender. It's so annoying. But that is what they do. It's part of their job, quite honestly.
But the judge rejected the claim.
Thank you. Sane judge. Sane. That is a sane judge right there. He has to reject it. Because you look at the conduct. You ask him, do you remember that day? Yes, I remember. It rained. I stabbed him 6 times. If you were insane, you wouldn't remember.
A physical examination revealed multiple bruises and signs of chronic malnutrition, all caused by his mother and stepfather.
Who fucking cares? There's a 9-year-old boy in the ground. There is a 9-year-old boy in the ground. Why are we exhuming and forensically analyzing the body of the criminal perpetrator? This doesn't make any sense.
This severe mistreatment left Lawhorn feeling utterly hopeless, ultimately leading to the crime.
How does this lead to a crime? This has nothing to do with a crime, guys. What are we talking about?
Upon learning the full story, Connor's parents forgave the 12-year-old boy. Ultimately, Lawhorn was convicted of first-degree murder, but since he was a minor, the judge issued a blended sentence. He would stay in a juvenile facility until he turned 21, at which point he would be tried as an adult. Was this
What? So they have to try him again? Hang him now.